Hello, my fellow bookish friends. I have another recommendation for you today from the ends of Donald Vasicek that I had the privilege of speaking with, I think, up to a month ago or a week, some weeks ago, actually. And when we have a conversation around some of his works. So I just finished reading The Real Ghost by Donald Vasicek. And I want to say that, it's actually been a while that I read a book in the horror category. I wouldn't say this is particularly thoroughly horror, but from the title, you can easily denote that this is gonna be an horror sort of themes of a book, actually. Yeah, because I've read some good number of horror literature, but this one actually stand quite captivating to me. Well, I wouldn't be talking too much about it. I just wanted to give you a short illustration of what I think of The Real Ghost by Donald Alva Sishek. But before I go on, there's a particular excerpt that I love in the book, which reads, "You never had a child, so don't tell me how to raise mine. You never had a child, so don't tell me how to raise mine." This particular part, well, I think it's a conversation between one of the characters. Okay, well, this book detailed the story of a newspaper delivery guy, the name of Ishabod, who goes about actually telling people that he saw Babe Ruth. The fact of Ishabod mentioning that he saw Babe Ruth caused a lot of controversy and a lot of questioning among the people in the community. I mean, you've seen Babe Ruth. How are we going to believe it that you've seen Babe Ruth? Considering who Babe Ruth, the condition of Babe Ruth in that community, and someone coming up to propose or to say that they saw Babe Ruth somewhere, it's time that you have to want to investigate, really. Yeah, so the story started with this. The story started with Ishabod, the newspaper guy, but then as we keep going on and on, Ishabod, I mean, Babe Ruth is not the only one that Ishabod claimed to have seen. Ishabod also claimed to have seen Mr. Strange. And at this point, or this time around, he needs to prove it to his parents just so they can get him his new baseball shoes. One of the things I can actually consider the story is a sort of a teenager suspense, I'd say. Yeah, because to me, it all centers around Ishabod, his trait, his characteristics, his feature, his mannerism, his craziness, his mischievousness, his silliness. Yeah, I'd say I love to mention. One of the things I can say about Isha about is the fact that he's such a mischievous character, really. And when I mean mischievous, I mean a troublesome one always causing one, not really causing too many chaos or something extremely bad, but it's just a silly and naughty character, I'd say. And alongside Ishabod, we have good numbers of other characters, which I particularly love the text or the contribution to the making, to the success of this particular The Real Ghost story by Donna Elva Sishek. I mean, characters like Jordan, who happens to be Ishabod's father, characters like Sarah, who happens to be Ishabod's mom, characters like Booktus, characters like Dr. Demix, like Chief Over, people like Ellen Stock, Benedict, and so many of them actually. They really made for an interesting discussion and made for an interesting read in a way that it kind of bring out the alluring, beautiful text that the book kind of possess. I would have loved to give much away in an attempt to keep my review spoiler free, and this particular one is actually going to be a very short one. The Real Ghost by Jonah L. Vasicek is going to be a very short one. But then I'd love you to find out what is going to become the likely consequence of, Ishabod assertions. I love to use the word assertion because it's more like you made a claim. It's more like, you've said you see this person or you've said you've done this. And another thing again, I love to find that is Ishabod's claim, the truthiness of Ishabod's claim, the reality of his claim. Is it true that Ishabod truly saw Babe Ruth, or is it telling lie to create attention? Is it telling lie to gain fame? Is it telling lies to create people's attention that, oh, There's a guy who claimed to have seen Babe Ruth, social location, social place. What is the motive towards his assertion? What's the mission towards his assertion? What does he stand to gain towards this assertion of his? And what are the likely consequences of his action? What are the likely consequences of his assertion? Whenever I'm talking about books, I always love to stay neutral, not to say this is a certain claim or this is what I particularly bring out of it, but attempt to invite you, being the listener, and prospect, say reader, to want to find out what all of this is all about. I mean, why would Ishabod claim to have seen Babe Ruth? Who is Babe Ruth at the first part? I mean, if you claim to have seen somebody there, okay, what makes it exceptional? Who exactly is Babe Ruth? And again, Mr. Strange this time around. Who exactly is Mr. Strange? What is he trying to drive with all of this? Like I said, assertion. I'm trying to look for another word apart from assertion of him. And again, before I wrap up this review, one thing that I particularly love about this book, The Real Ghost, is Donald L. Vasicek writing style. My goodness, I so much love his writing style. And when I mean I love it, I mean I love how deep it is. I love how metaphorical is where it is. I love how descriptive a storytelling habit is. I love his characterization. There are tons of characters here, but I mentioned in time past those ones have stood with me. That I love their features, that I love their trait, that I love the quality and the beauty that they kind of add to the entire story itself. Donut's writing style, to me, reads quite poetical, and I don't know if he's a poet, but when I mean it read poetically, there are some words that are underlined in the book, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back to it. I highlighted some section, some statement. I was like, wow, I love how this work has been crafted. And that's one thing I love about, storytelling. I'm a huge fan of words, and I love it when reading a novel and the word can stay with me. I mean, the words are so beautifully crafted that it will get you thinking or going over the line again, read it just to digest the beauty, the sweetness of that sentence. How the words were placed side by side together in this novel. Honestly, it is amazing. One of the things I particularly love about The Real Ghost is the writing style. It's how Donald crafts these words one after the other in a beautiful, in a poetic manner, in a metaphorical manner, one that would, if you're a huge fan of words actually, and when I mean something that is poetic, there are ways poetry shines in terms of reading, in terms of word formation, in terms of the alliteration involved in it, in terms of the description of it, especially if you're trying to compare one situation to another, or to an object that might be abstract, things like that. I love Donut's description as well. Now, this I'm about to say might be a bit controversial, but to me, I kind of think that of all writers that are very descriptive, I think most British writers are very descriptive. I don't know why, but that's my perception. Maybe I need to read more American literature, but most of the British writers I've read so far in time past are quite descriptive. And I kind of feel that descriptive feature reading through Donna's writing, even though it's not British. I mean, the scene of you having to describe every single thing. You get into a room and you say, this one, the table is well placed beside this is this. I mean, even when Donald was describing the trees, the surrounding, I mean, the environment where this character is and where the event or the scene at that particular time, which a story has been told, it's happening, his description of the scenes quite so deep, so beautiful that it got me nodding my head. I was like, wow, this is well descriptive. That's actually one of the things I love about the book, which is the storytelling style, which is the storytelling techniques and the general writing style. Honestly, it is very beautiful. It's beautifully written. Yeah, and I need to commend Donut's writing style with this, especially his descriptive feature of storytelling. It's quite beautiful. It's quite commendable, and it's worth the while really. And I think it added more feature, more beautiful traits to the entire story as a whole. Yeah. So there's actually much to say about the real ghost. There's so many to say about it. But in my attempt to keep my review spoiler free, I would restrict from revealing further. In an attempt to keep my review spoiler free. But I want you to check out for yourself, the reason why Ishabod goes about telling people that he saw Babe Ruth. Who is Babe Ruth? What are the likely consequences of Ishabod's assertion of the people that he saw, and many more involved in it? But this is a tale that is quite compelling. Like I mentioned earlier, it is stylishly a sort of a teenage suspense, I'd say. Yeah, that's what I would love to classify it as. In my own perception, that's what I would love to classify it as. So there's much to say about the real ghosts, but I wouldn't love to say much in an attempt to keep it spoiler free. But then, if you love my take on it and it sounds quite pulling to you and you would love to get a copy of it, I left a link in the description part of this review where you can get a copy of the real ghost directly on Amazon and other platforms as well. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching my short video book recommendation, because this is something I stopped my review. Thank you for watching my short video book recommendation of Donald L. Vasicek, The Real Ghost. Recently, we are over 10,000 subscribers, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been following the channel thus far. Thank you for the likes, thank you for following, thank you for the comment, thank you for viewing it, thank you for the shares. It's much appreciated, and I really appreciate you all for the engagement, for the likes, for the views, for the comment, everything really. Yeah, thank you. And I've got so many other books on my decks that I'm getting to. And once I'm done with that, I'll come up again and recommend them in video, in rating, in every way possible to me. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Thank you and goodbye.